Hey everybody, Facebook friends and YouTubers. I love YouTube. I've always been a good YouTuber. I'm a good freeware person. My wife buys stuff every year, and I have stuff that I buy every year. But if I can get it for free and it's reliable, I keep it going year after year. And today's chart here that I made today, it's partially stuff that from the last few weeks that needs to be brought together and neatened up, cleaned up, and looked at. What do we have here? Up here we have the modal key of caged pattern stack. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, it's a pattern stack. I call it the key of caged. Alright? What is the key of caged? The key of caged is the open string chords. That's the key of C. That's the key of A. That's the key of G. Okay, and then the E, and then the D. That's key of caged. It's really 5 keys in one. Now remember, the G is part of the C, right? When you do the pentatonic C, the pentatonic C, that's fine. You that's the pentatonic C, and then you want to do the pentatonic G. Is slightly different. But when you go to play the pentatonic, the diatonics, you can play the diatonic C. Okay, I can't quite see it, and I was trying to do it by eye. It's a better idea not to do things by eye all the time, but you can check it. That is interesting because you can fit the entire C scale on this little chunk of the keyboard, on this little chamber. I call it a chamber, it's called a cage. But guess what? If you try to do a G from the open string, it's out of the cage. Its hand is going to be reaching out of the cage. That may not be good. So it would be the seventh, the F sharp would be up there or something like that, because the open string here is the G. Okay, now by the way, this is all down tuned 2 whole steps, so it's a down C piano and it's a down C guitar, so they're both A flat instruments. Okay, so that's the G string. We can't get the leading tone to that G. So what? That's the important difference between key of caged and what we have over here. Zooming back out again, to get essentially this guy here, which is the pattern stack for bar chords. I call it the short stack. S stands for short, for stack rather, and then this S stands for short. Stack of 3 short. 2 to 3 is a short interval, 5 to 6 is a short interval, R to 2 is a short interval. Okay, and that was originally didn't have the 7 tab. it didn't have the 4 tab. But it's not Barbie now. You would fold those tabs under. Okay. You could cut them out and put them on it. But anyway, as in the D. Alright, so if this was C, the D would be the D minor. So the D would start with, it just happens to start with 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2. And then we go into another square over here, the stack of 2 long. But the 6 to the R has to warp up a half a fret, just a half. Sounds like Marlboro. So if you see that characteristic, splitting of this rectangular thing, that's the start of C down here. It's the rectangular thing. It's the same thing. Like that, okay? Because we were in C, remember? That's our E-shaped C. This is the C-shaped C. Okay? Now up here, way up here, we have a D-shaped C. Alright? It doesn't sound that good, but that's because it's easier for me to bend the notes. So they get bent out of shape. I'm not trying to bend them, but notice they sound slightly high. That's because I'm not grasping the guitar fully. I'm trying to get to the mouse here. Okay? So, the smaller pattern stack is included that we would use on bar chords. Notice I did do a bar chord there. That was a bar chord. I have a band-aid on. That's because I was trying to bend a nail in a hurry, that I had used a nail to secure a door closed, and with a bending thing, you know, and got cut. I didn't do that doing bar chords. Then again, my finger might have been weakened there doing bar chords. So, we have the smaller stack here. Let's zoom out a second and find out what's going on here. Why do I call that the smaller stack? You know, that person in your mind, that's yourself, that asks you why things, now that's helpful, because you're that person. But I usually don't like to answer questions to myself that, you know, I'd rather not. But one thing that was puzzling me was, what was I going to name this? It's the short stack, okay, as opposed to the long stack. Now, don't worry about the heights of these stacks. The pattern stacks are high enough to cover the pattern until it starts to repeat, okay? All patterns repeat vertically, all right, like bricks almost. But where are you going to put that brick? It matters, right? If somebody just starting out and they put a brick straight on top of one another, so that the brick design is like 4 quadrants instead of staggered, the way bricks are staggered, okay, where's the brick going to go? How's it going to go on top of the other? All right, so that matters in the pattern stack. So I do, in this case, 4 bricks, so that we can see how each particular case, this one on the bottom with this one on the top, then this one on the bottom with this one on the top, and then I'll do one more just for good measure. All right, the bare minimum, usually, in this case, the bare minimum is 5 strings in a pattern. Okay, we'll see why that's just 5 of them. And here we have all 7 and all 7 modes. The opposite colors here are the top and the bottom of the bricks below and underneath, and